Mochi Health is here to help you start your weight loss journey with caring, personalized support. Meet one-on-one with board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians who truly listen and understand your unique needs. Eligible patients can access affordable GLP-1 medications delivered right to their door each month. No insurance? No problem. Mochi Health accepts FSA and HSA, making care accessible and affordable. And with 24/7 customer service, you'll never feel alone on your path to better health. Get started with Mochi Health today. Take the free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 at checkout for $40 off your first month of membership. That's joinmochi.com with promo code AUDIO40.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is Real Talk, No Strings Attached. The podcast brought to you by the youth of Indianapolis, using this platform and their voice to touch on vital topics they believe impact their communities. Here's the Real Talk team for some real talk, no strings attached.
Are you ready? Because here we go.
What's up, everybody? This is Coleman Reynolds from Lawrence North High School with Real Talk Media, and today I am here with
Trey Jefferson, junior from Cathedral High School.
Aiden Tribute, senior from Lawrence North High School.
J. Scott, a.k.a. Jalea, senior from Warren Central.
Joel Draper, youth advocate with Voices, graduate from CTMA.
All right, so today our topic is
college and careers.
And how can our high schools better prepare us for options outside of college, like apprenticeships and different internships and trade schools. So what are your plans for after high school?
So my plans after high school is not to go the apprenticeship and trade school route. My plan is to go to college, to university, hopefully through scholarships, financial aid. And then after my 4-year undergrad, my plan is to go to medical school and acquire my degree in medicine, and then go through my residency program, and then eventually become a doctor.
All I'm hearing is money. That debt is gonna get you tight.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
what do you mean by that?
Like,
because med school is
a lot of
going
money.
the doctor route is a lot.
But
it's a lot of money.
That does not have to mean debt. You know
I mean, it
that,
doesn't have to
right?
mean debt.
I'm just saying, it usually means debt. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, typically
you have
In my opinion, if we talking about debt, college, first thing when I hear college, that's what I think about is debt.
Debt.
To be honest with you.
Well, back to Coleman's question. My plans for college is I'm going to probably go to Purdue and major in political science. Now, how I'm going to pay for that is a completely different story. As you guys, I think we do know what 21st Century Scholars is. Does everybody know what that is in the room?
Yep.
No.
For those that don't know, maybe.
For those that don't know what 21st Century Scholars is, 21st Century Scholars is a program where you can sign up when you're really young. And if you go all the way through school and graduate, they will help you pay for college. They'll like completely pay for your tuition. And I'm a 21st Century Scholar. I think as well as
I'm also a 21st Century Scholar.
I am not a 21st Century Scholar.
Yeah, and they are paying for my tuition. But what 21st Century Scholars doesn't pay for is housing. So I still have to pay $13,000 for housing, which is not good. And I don't know how I'm going to pay for that after my 4 years.
So like $13,000, like as in a total
Like
estimate of everything
every year.
Each year.
Wow.
Which is about $50,000 total.
Mm-hmm. Which is why we're trying to do schools properly prepare for people that do not.
Oh, all right. My plans after high school, not to lie to y'all, is like just basically going ahead and pursue my career, basically going into TV production. At my college, personally, like I said, I'm also 21st Century Scholar, so my tuition is getting paid for, along with, I got scholarships, thankfully, with the college I'm going to, but without those, I probably paying like around like 60 something each year, like 60,000 something each year, which is a lot. And so thankfully they gave me like 30,000 per year, along with award money, so I'm able to pay like less for tuition, like less for housing. But yeah, I'm basically going into production and film, along with dance and law. I'm also going into art. I know it's a lot, but yeah.
Okay. So what would you say is most difficult with the program 21st Century Scholars? That's the name of it.
Yeah. I would say the most difficult part about it is, not gonna lie, you have to sign for when you're younger, like kind of like before 8th grade, and sign up for it, and then you have to maintain a CR above. You have to maintain a certain GPA. You can't go anything lower than like 2.5, I think, or was it 3.0? It was one or the other.
The downgrade for 21st Century Scholars for me, my parents, like, when it comes to the financial aspect of it, my parents make too much for their criteria, but at the same time, we not making enough for them to pay for my college fully either. So it's like I'm in that middle to where I can't, and I'm not eligible for a lot of scholarship opportunities because they make too much. But then at the same time, well, they not making enough to get me through 4 years of college. So like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, and that's the huge problem, and that's why some people take a gap year. That's why some people go to the military. That's why some people go to trade school and community college because and that's also a problem because if you're like very low income, you'll get help to go to college. Wherever state you're in, some states have help to go to college, like for people low income.
Which is good. Which
is very good. If you're very high income, if you're wealthy, then you don't need help. Your parents can help you pay for college. But if you're like most Americans, like me and Coleman, where your parents don't make enough,
middle class, if your parents don't make enough so you can get that state help, but you're not wealthy enough to where you
gotta figure out how to pay for college.
So you got to meet like right in the middle.
So you're like right in the middle. So that's where the question of where do we think graduates, especially early graduates to apprenticeships, lie? Because college isn't the only way. Like, you got apprenticeships. Like, what role should apprenticeships have in our society, and how serious should we take them?
I think they need to be talked about more. Because I don't know. I mean, for me, that's not what I want to do. I didn't share my plans after high school, but my plans for after high school, at the end of the day, I want to be a lawyer. So my plans, I got to go to college for what I want to do. But even if that wasn't what I wanted to do and I didn't know what I want to do, apprenticeships and like different internships and different like military things I could go through, because the military will pay for your college. That's not talked about enough, but the military will pay for your college. So like different things like that are not talked about enough. So for those that like don't that they don't know what they want to do, they always hear college. No, you don't have to go to college to be successful.
Piggybacking off what he said, I feel like college. I feel like college is not a must. Like I feel like it's not a must. Like as much as it's been like promoted, I don't feel like it's a need as much as people like portray. I feel like that trades or like going to the military. That's what I plan doing. Graduated early from high school last year, June 2024. From online classes, I feel like college, I feel like I can get a lot done in the outside world instead of being in like the education side of college. I feel like it's a lot put into it, and it's not, I feel like it's not a lot we getting back from it. I feel like it's just a lot of learning that's been like stuff from like years ago that we still learning to this day. And I feel like today's world moves so much faster. I feel like it's so much more money going around faster. I feel like it's so much more money that could be made faster. So I feel like college could be a waste of time to a certain extent. So I plan on going to the military. I got my trade last year. I feel like it's programs like trades you can go to that you don't have to even pay for it. Like you just have to do it and be there. Like just a 2-week program. I got this MIG welding certificate. It only took me 2 weeks, and I got paid for it. So I feel like it's so many opportunities and trades out here that you don't have to pay for. They just want you to come and work. They want you to work. They want you to get this trade, and that's stuff that can help you for the rest of your life. You can start a business off that, and you wouldn't have to go to college.
Yeah, I really like what you added on that, because I feel like as a society, and especially as people of color, we've really placed an all or nothing gambit on it has to be college, has to be university.
Because we didn't have access to it for so long.
Exactly.
Like,
so it has to be
now.
College, it has to be universities, or you're gonna be the next fryer.
Yeah, just flip my patties.
Like you're gonna be revving up those fryers if you don't go to college.
Ref, do something.
Right.
Like college isn't everything, and like that's why I feel like community college isn't the same as university. Like you can still take those classes, but like it doesn't it's not the same. It's nowhere near the same as a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
But
it's
not to, my bad, not to interrupt you. Not to put it like we bashing on college or nothing like
we're not
that.
bashing
But I
on
feel like
That's just not for everybody.
college is not for everybody. I feel like it's very complex. I feel like I feel like it takes a lot of prep time, a lot of preparations. It takes a lot of time. I feel like to become successful and wealthy, you need multiple sources of income. So you have to be
That's
doing
right.
multiple different things. And I feel like college, it just like more like a narrow road, like you just doing this, like every day you just doing this.
I'm sorry, I have to get this thought out before I laugh. When you say all or nothing gambit, do you mean gamble?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry. You said it like times. I was like, what is gambit?
Like it's either this or that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
I think I was just confused by
And
gambit.
there's nothing in between. Like there's something in between.
Like,
But
like you don't want to go to college. That's
yeah,
the thing.
because
Like,
I'm
no
scared.
one-
I feel like, because there's certain scenarios I done heard, like college, like, man, out of nowhere, like my college, the payment that was due, like the fund that I needed, it just went up out of nowhere. Like, and I was just in massive debt out of nowhere. So I just feel like it's a lot going on behind closed doors, and I'm just kind of like, I'm just shy from. I'm not.
And like you don't like that. Yeah, you don't want to go to college. So like no one should force you to go to college. Like that's your 100% your choice. If you want to go to the military, you should be able to go to the military. I don't want to do that, but you want to do that, and that's what you want to do. So like it's not either go to college or do nothing. Like there's other pathways. Like you can enroll in an internship at like a hospital if you still want to be a doctor, but you're not ready to go to college because you're not ready to take out all those student loans.
So does your high school like give you access to those different outlets? Just like, for instance, I know I go to Lawrence North High School, and we have a building connected with us through our township called McKenzie, and it's a whole career center. So like, you could, some people, they do automotive services, criminal justice. I'm in a criminal justice class along with
So am I.
Aiden. And we're going to graduate with our 911 dispatcher certification. Cosmetology school, they will be certified. CNAs will be certified. They have different business classes, journalism classes. Like they have everything. But like I know everybody's school does not have that. So how does your school prepare you for other things aside from college?
I will say my school also has kind of like the same thing, but what they'll do is like they will separate like the building that we have, because as most people know, Warren's like all together. There's like no separate two buildings, so there's like a whole like the whole like backside with the garage like that. That's all for like business, like nursing, business, CNA, all that, dentistry. And how they prepare us is like I'm part of the pathways, part of two of them actually. And how they prepare us is like the first, like we have like two classes, intro and like advanced. And when you're in the advanced class, they give you the internship. They give you like internships to like go out there and like do it yourself. Like we're allowed to leave school, go to our internship, and come back, and that'll count as like one of our credits to prepare us for how it's gonna be when we get into the real world to actually like go and pursue that all the way through.
Will you have any like certification once you graduate, or?
For nursing, dentistry, CNA, you can get certified.
Okay.
Dentistry, they help you like get into those like offices to help you get through dental school. For TV, I know I'm certified into videography and recording. I got my certificate. I got myself with that. And then I would say cosmetology too. Once in that advanced class, they like get certified with that too. Basically, anything we do, we must get certified, including welding and automotives and stuff like that.
Like at Cathedral, because Cathedral's a smaller private school, so like you don't have like the ability. And plus, our campus is small. Like we're on a hill, so we can't really venture out and expand our campus. But we do have stuff like photography. We have a whole building called Cunningham. We're all like fine arts, cosmetology. I think's in there, but I don't think we're licensed. We have an anatomy class for like if you want to be a doctor. We have exercise science. We have that. So we have that. We have like this basic stuff, but we don't have like what you guys have. But I do feel like at your, like you go to Warren, you guys go to Lawrence North. I think because you guys have more resources than other schools. Like I'm saying, like comparing Lawrence Township to IPS. There's a clear income
Difference.
difference in how much
Absolutely.
funding they get, which funding's a whole nother conversation. Lawrence Township gets more funding for McKinsey. IPS doesn't really have that.
And IPS is overcrowded.
And they're overcrowded. So, like, say if you want to be a nurse and you go to Christmas Attucks, but you don't have anything to help you go into nursing or learn anything about
Everybody
nursing.
wants to be a nurse.
Like, exactly, but say Attucks doesn't have that. You have to go somewhere else, and you may not have the resources, and then you just completely don't want to be a nurse. So, do you guys think that your ability to do something with an apprenticeship or with, I guess, what am I trying to say?
Do you want me to add?
Yeah, like, do you guys think that where you're in, like where you're based at, like where you go to school and where you live, do you think that that has a correlation to what you want to study, like your opportunities to do something?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like your environment and your surroundings is a heavy influence on how you act and the decisions that you make. Definitely that also correlates with your influence. The youth and young people minds are influenced at a young age, and they need good mentors and role models so they can make good decisions. So I definitely feel like from certain areas, certain people they don't want to go to college after they graduate. They don't even want to go to school sometimes. Certain communities love school. Certain communities got houses and families. They whole family don't went to college. They ain't got no choice but to go to college. You know.
A lot of people are to a point. You are a product of your environment. So some people, it's all about perspective. So like, you can be in one situation. Like a lot of times, I don't know if anybody else has heard this story, but I've heard this story of like, it was their dad. The dad was an alcoholic. There was two sons. One son vowed to never drink alcohol because his dad was an alcoholic. The other son became an alcoholic because his dad was an alcoholic. So it's all about perspective. Everybody is a product of your environment, but you can make the decision. Do I want to be like this or do I want to not be like this?
See, but the thing is, I kind of disagree because I feel like it's very hard to not become a product of your environment because you're around it like all the time. So I feel like it's just kind of unfair to be like, he doesn't deserve this because, his brother grew up in the hood, but he made it out. But I feel like it's not the other brother's fault that he didn't make it out of the hood because he was literally born in the hood. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like instead...
What are you disagreeing on?
So I'm more disagreeing on the fact that when he's like, I feel like what he's saying is like, we should not feel bad for the brother that's like an alcoholic. You feel what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying don't feel bad for him. What I'm trying to point out is that two people can be in the same people can be in the same situation, but have two totally different outcomes. That's what I'm trying to point out. Not that we should bash the brother that became an alcoholic. I mean, no, that's what you came from. That's what you're used to. We need to support you and not bash you. That's not what I'm saying at all.
And I like how he put that together. I like the example that he used. He more so was saying that at the end of the day, everybody does make their own decisions. So we could choose to do something positive instead of doing something negative. It is all about mindsets. Yeah. Yes, the circumstances could be sad at times, but at the end of the day, we do decide and make our own decisions, and we can decide to make that positive or negative.
Like people say, if your friends decide to jump off a bridge, are you gonna jump?
Maybe.
That's up to you. That is your choice that you make.
He came around big brothers.
If you're a good friend, you'll talk him off the bridge.
That's true, but sometimes even the best influences, even the best talks, can't change a person's mind. Because don't get me wrong, people out there is also hard-headed.
What they say, if you lead the horse to water, you can't make him drink it.
That's how he was.
People gonna take their own path.
He grew up not listening. Why you think he gonna listen to you now?
But yeah, you have to show people that there are other things than what they are used to and what they've always been around. Like, I've always been around, my family is very much go to college, go to college, go to college. So luckily that's what I want to do anyways. But
if you didn't want
if I didn't want to, it's like, well, dang, are y'all going to show me anything else I can do?
I do want to add, though, because I feel like it's very discouraged if you don't want to call it college, especially like in my house, because basically everybody went to college, and especially like in our schools too. Like when I even presented the idea that I wanted to take a gap year because I didn't know if I could pay for not just college, but just tuition and just like housing in general. They were like, you're not going to go, like you need to go to college because you're not really going to do anything. Or I feel like there's things like that. And I feel like in society, I think Trey touched on, there's like this such a big stigma of not going to college. And that's why I feel like these internships and apprenticeships are so good, because it kind of gives you like a preview and you can kind of explore what you want to do if you don't want to go to college. And that's why I tell everybody internships and apprenticeships are so good to use, because they're readily available, because like I said, a lot of people are not going to college, but a lot of people are also not going this other route. So I feel like we should more lean kids. Well, let me not say lean kids. I feel like we should just have more opportunities and resources.
Try to promote that. Yeah, I do agree with what you were saying. I feel like it is a huge stigma behind college that like you can't be an entrepreneur unless you go to college or something. I feel like you definitely can be an entrepreneur just off getting trades or even a 9-to-5 and investing in stocks. Like it's online universities out here that teach you how to invest in stocks and become your own millionaire. Like, you know, I see kids out here 1 year older than me already millionaires are doing something online that I could be doing. Mm-hmm. So
go ahead, finish.
So I feel like it's a lot of searching and learning that we still have to learn. Mm-hmm. That didn't make sense, did it?
No, I did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Back on topic, and back to the question I was going to say. Do you think that the high school curriculum prepares us for not only college, but life? I'm talking about like financial literacy.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Do you think the high school curriculum prepares us?
No.
Absolutely not. Sorry, Julia, you can go ahead. Ladies first.
All right, I'm going to say no because in high school, they're like, okay, be in the classrooms, there for 8 hours. You have to learn about like trigonometry or like algebra. You have to learn about like all these different things. Now, yes, you have like that's like career centers, things like that, like pathways. But honestly, we're not getting prepared for like what we have to actually like deal with outside of the work. Like, think about it, right? In the real world, you're going out there by yourself. You have to pay bills. You have to learn about financials, like financial stuff. You have to like save every single thing. I can't talk today. Anyways, long story short, in high school, everything that you're learning, you're probably not going to use. Let's be honest. Who's going to use X times Z times Y?
Why do we need to know Y equals MX?
Exactly.
You know,
unless you try to become a teacher.
Now, I mean,
or like
just to teach more stuff that we're not going to use.
Exactly.
I understand, like
you can use it like in higher.
Hold up, wait a minute, y'all. Let's calm down, y'all.
I just want to add this. I understand, like knowing the basics of like math. Like you just need to know the basics.
Yes, you need to know how to count your money.
Course.
Like, you know how to count your money.
I need to know how many miles per hour I'm going. Yes.
But like, do you really
Your car
need
tells
to
you
know,
that, so I mean,
like pre-calculus? Like
right,
I'm gonna be
still got to know how to count.
I'm gonna be
read the miles per hour.
I'm gonna be a doctor. All I need to know is like what's your blood pressure. Like the only numbers I need is like when I'm looking at someone's vitals. I'm not gonna need to know what a pre-calculus equation
in
is.
some careers, like if you want to be an accountant, of course you need to have more knowledge than the average.
Like also, you can really use it as a doctor too, because you have to measure things out as a doctor.
But like that is for your career. I ain't gonna be
Hold up, y'all. We can't have most people talking.
But I learned that in my anatomy class.
True, but you also learn geometry and trigonometry with angles and with being able to calculate Pythagorean theorem with like the scalpel and stuff. Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. I love trigonometry. Anyways,
Pythagorean theorem.
I don't scalpel doctors.
I promise you it works.
Major tongue twister.
Wait,
hold up.
can we wait? Let's get back on topic.
Right, Aiden. I'm trying. So
Daden?
I said Aiden. Oh God, that's what I said. Y'all quit. Aiden. All right, my bad. I apologize, God. I'm sorry if I said something. All right, let's go. Y'all playing. All right. So as Jaleel was saying, yes, I do feel like a lot of this stuff that we're taught in like class are not really needed. Like especially like after like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. I feel like I don't know. Like after middle school, a lot of this stuff is just like, bro, this is crazy, bro.
It's kind of filler.
Like, it's filler. Unless, like, I want to do, like, a construction job or something. Like, some of the stuff, like, when you reading the ruler, like, you got to measure stuff up. You is going to need, like, a lot of this, like, complex math that you would need. But I feel like some of the stuff that you really would need in the real world, they definitely don't teach you. It's more so they don't want you to know about this. They want you to get caught up in this so they can get a little money out you. Like, they definitely should be teaching you about tax before you get out of school. Like, that is beyond me. Like, right, you feel me?
My mom grew up in Gary. She went to Gary Roosevelt.
Big 219.
I know. And her school was critically underfunded. It was critically overcrowded. But she said that she learned the basics of how to do her taxes, how to write bills, and how to take care of her home in high school.
They ain't taught us nothing.
Well,
And they
yeah,
haven't taught me
Township,
any of
do
that.
better.
Thing.
gotta pay for them.
I always felt like high school, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I always felt like high school should have been, like after middle school, when you go into high school, the first thing your counselor should have talked to you is, what do you want to do? And if you don't know, or if you do know, great. But if you don't know, the counselor should help you figure out what you want to do. And then once you figure out what you want to do, the high school, instead of giving you these prerequisite, pre-mandated classes by the state, the high school should prepare you for what you actually want to do. So like if you want to be a welder, you need to take welding classes. You need to intern. You need to have an apprenticeship in welding.
Well, schools,
Some schools do that.
schools can only do what the state allows them to do.
I know. I feel like the state. You guys making fun of my?
No, my bad, Mr. Trey.
No, we're not.
Sorry to interrupt you. Me and Aiden gotta go real quick. Look, what you were saying about the classes, pre-mandated classes, what you said, correct? I also feel like a lot of the classes, I feel like some of the classes that are being taught, I feel like they should be like updated. Like I feel like a lot of them are like outdated. I feel like they should be getting updated as time goes on. Like as education excels, as like we get better. I feel like a lot of the stuff is like, I feel like a lot of stuff is like not really relevant.
Well, just piggybacking off what you're saying, though, I have to speak from my own experience. Like in my U.S. history class, we just started a unit, my God, on the origins of hip hop. We're learning that in my U.S. history class. So not everything is outdated. It depends on the township. It depends on the funding.
Yeah.
It depends on who your teachers are. Like my first day of school, my U.S. teacher is a white guy, but he was straight up like, I don't understand why a white guy is teaching, because my whole class is a minority. So he was like, I don't understand why a white guy is teaching an all minority class about U.S. history, but here we are, and I'm going to try my best.
That's why I like Lawrence Township.
Yeah, Lawrence Township.
You know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
let's get in the clap. I want to piggyback off what you and Joel just said. I feel like it definitely depends on the township, because for me, I feel like my business class, at least, they did teach us how to budget a little bit. Like
That's not a required class.
But I'm saying, but then that's also another topic. Should students be the ones to kind of push for getting themselves in these classes? Because I feel like these classes they talk to you about the classes readily available.
That should be the requirement. Business classes should be a requirement instead of algebra 2.
So really,
It's more like you can do this.
Well,
I ain't gonna
yeah,
just
like
sit
you
no
can
light
take
on
the
it.
class. We're not gonna make you take the class, but you can take the class. But for me, my parents told me I need to take we sat down with my counselor and looked at my schedule, and they said, okay, we're gonna put you in this class, we're gonna put you in this class, we're gonna put you in this class, and I got put in a business class.
Environment does play a role as well.
It does, and we actually
Good role
did
models.
just touch up on this, and I do feel like it's very important. But
And this has been like, I hate when things get political and civics get involved, but this is when politics and civics gets involved, because we can fight for this, but it's the reason why we have mandated classes is because of the state. Like our schools and our townships, even though they can really make changes to what they want, they have to do what the state follows. And I hate when governments say, look, we're going to be hands off on education. We're giving it back to the local districts. But they're not really hands off. They still have requirements for the state. Like if you want to go into the business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, even though you probably do need to know some math, Algebra 2 and pre-calculus shouldn't be a requirement for you. It needs to be stuff that you understand. It needs to be stuff that you need.
I personally have a belief that requirements are good.
Like good to an extent.
Like especially when it comes to like English and stuff. Like you need to know how to read. You need to know how to write. But when it comes to, it's definitely on the mathematics side, instead of learning like Algebra 2, a business class should be required. A financial literacy class should be required instead of all this other stuff. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you go into in your life, you could do anything. You end up being anything, but you need to know how to manage your money.
I'm abundant real quick for that. Actually, the class of 2028, my brother's class, their class, they just started it where the financial literacy will now be a requirement for all schools in the state of Indiana. So that is now a new requirement. Financial literacy is a requirement.
And what year is it? 2025.
It starts in the
It starts with the class.
It starts with the class of 2028.
It's crazy.
Actually, I will say, because when I was a freshman, at my school, aka Warren, what we had to take DAR, which is like learning how to use Google Slides, Google Sheets, all that. We had to learn how to type as a freshman, along with you have to take PCC, which is like pre-college careers and stuff like that. Basically, trying to learn how like business, how to budget your money. Like basically, they had classes mandatory that a lot of us didn't like, but it was so helpful for me nowadays because I know how to budget my money. I know how to do all these different things that they took it away from the freshmen, and they took it fully away from the freshmen nowadays. Because I'm like, wait, so they're telling me that when I was a freshman, I had to learn how to do all this, how to use my money. I had to learn how to like do taxes, things like that. But they don't got to learn that, and I was a little confused about that at first. And I was like, now I realize nowadays the government doesn't want them to learn about nothing while they're in school. They don't want them to learn about how to budget their money. They want them to learn about how to actually file some taxes, actually how to get money back for them. Because
I feel like, sorry to interrupt. I feel like it's more so it's like they can't relate to us. Like them, like we not y'all. Like y'all work for the money. We print it out. We make the money. I feel like, but like I feel like schools just now getting a financial literacy class in 2028 is insane to me. I feel like you should have published a school with financial literacy class.
And I took a financial literacy class my sophomore year.
Your sophomore year? That's insane. They should have been teaching.
Was it
that.
required or was it?
No, I took.
Chose to.
I
You know what I'm
took
saying?
it.
Exactly.
I
It should be
took it.
required.
It goes back to the parents.
Because the financial literacy is what creates, civilizations. That's what, creates foundations. I feel like algebra is insane. Like I had an algebra teacher come tutor me and help me with my my work, and he had a calculator and the answer was wrong on the test that I took. Like he was like,
"Go ahead,
no, go ahead."
Finish.
And it was like, and I'm like, okay, the teacher, I know he spent so much time of his life working on this math for algebra. I know he cannot be wrong. How is there a problem in the math itself? It's made up. And it gets to a point I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Once you start putting letters in something that's supposed to have numbers in it, that's where you lose me.
Before we continue, I want to ask this to the table. What do you guys think we should change in the schools to, help what you guys are talking about? So the financial literacy, the business class. So do you guys truly think that we should add these classes to be mandated?
Let
Do you
me
think that
go-
we should
let me
change our
go.
curriculum?
Let me
Because
go to-
personally, for me, when you guys are talking about I don't think we should remove a lot of this stuff. I think a lot of this stuff could be added. To my senior year, I think I have at least 3 leave blocks. So I don't I'm really not at school that much. I come to school at 10:30. I leave at 2:10. So I feel like maybe instead of that, maybe we could just add these classes our senior year. You could add a financial literacy class, a business class, or even what I would love is a tax class. Learning how to do your taxes would be so nice. But on top of that, though, then we got to talk about who we're going to hire. That means you got to hire different teachers, and those are different courses and things like that. So maybe, I feel like the first thing for schools could be to go into, like I said, really giving these students more resources and opportunities outside. For me personally, at my internship, we were just taught how to budget and do finances by this guy named Jay, and he's a private wealth thingy thing. And we do that, and I do that, and I do something like that every Sunday. So
I actually have a question off of that.
You mean a stockbroker or something? Stockbroker?
No, he's a private wealth investor.
Okay.
Do you guys think, number one, do you think teachers are paid appropriately? And number two, how do we address the teacher shortage? Because like you said, for the stuff that we want to add to the classrooms, like financial literacy, we do have to hire teachers.
Hold up. I wanted to answer the question that Aiden posed first before he answered it himself.
Can you restate your question?
You want me to restate my question?
Yes,
Yeah.
just the question.
Okay, so my question was, what do you guys think we should change in schools to, kind of improve what you guys want to,
Right.
financial literacy, business classes, things like that?
Right.
That's what I'm going to say. We'll answer that.
Right. I feel like one major change that I feel like is needed and would definitely help a lot of the youth and lead them to success and lead them to make better decisions. I feel like a lot of the youth should have mentors. I feel like every youth should at least have mentors, because I know certain schools just have 2 mentors in the whole entire school. And there's a bunch of kids in this school. I feel like at least each student should be having one mentor. I'm sorry, that might be blown out of proportions. I feel like some kids need mentors. Some kids need role models to look up to because their environment might not be good energy and good positive decision. good influence. That's what I meant. The environment might not be good influence, and they might not have the mentors in their life. And I feel like we should have like certain like caseworkers for like certain kids that need like special support, like support.
Do you
like
mean
support
like-
system? They lack support systems. Certain kids in certain areas that need support systems. I feel like they should be the ones that need mentors and should have mentors.
You know, I do want to add something though. My mom, when we were talking about college, and when I was really stressed about college, me and my mom were talking about hiring me a life coach. That might be something we could also look into, getting life coaches in schools. Because I think me talking to mine, like we talk about like what's my plan after college and things like that. Like I feel like he kind of helps me get like a little bit of clarity. Like he's like, okay, well you can do this, but I'm also going to give you this. Like this is another option for you too. And he kind of helps me like plan out really what I want to do. So I feel like a life coach could be a nice little add on top of a counselor. Because I do agree with you, Joel, but like a counselor for each person is kind of blown out proportion because that would be a whole new building.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Not like for each student. Yeah, that was kind of like blown out proportion. It was kind of exaggerated. I meant to like kids in certain areas that might lack support systems and might not have an environment that is, you know, full of good influence and role models that they can look up to.
Mm-hmm.
So I just found this out. So, you guys go to Lawrence North, so you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. This says that Lawrence North's student to faculty ratio is 20-1. Does that seem about right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
It
that
depends
sounds
on the
about
classes you. I mean, if you sign up for a class, but
does 20-1 seem about right?
that sounds about right.
Okay. For the reference, Cathedral High School, which is a private school, has a student to faculty ratio of 12-1. And Crispus Attucks, which is a IPS school, but it's about 1,100 students, also has a faculty ratio of 20-1. So, Cathedral High School, 12 private, 1,200 kids, 12-1. Attucks, 1,100, 20-1. Equal populations, higher student to faculty ratio.
It's about funding. It's about. I mean, it's a cathedral. It's a private school. Y'all teachers are probably getting paid more than public
Yeah.
school teachers.
So
it goes into all of
The
that.
students
was
are
my
probably
question.
acting better.
That was my question. Do you think that, number one, we're paying teachers a lot more? Number two, do we think we're funding public schools more? How do you think we're funding public schools? And three, how do we solve the teacher shortage?
I do want to. I apologize. I'm going to backtrack real quick because I did want to respond to something Joel said. Yeah, schools should like have like mentor programs and stuff coming, but at the same time, parents like sign your kids up for stuff, like because a lot of the times, right? There's something Center for Leadership Development. Crown Mentoring. There's a lot of different mentoring programs within the city. 100 Black Men. I know different D9 sororities have stuff like a cotillion, a botillion.
I was in a cotillion.
You can sign up for. So yeah, it is a school responsibility, but at the same time, like, well, maybe common sense ain't so common, but you know, to a point, just as a human, I just feel like a parent would know, like, my kid needs a little bit more, something that I can't offer. So let me find a program. Let me find some people that can mentor my child. Like, if you go into church, like, good examples. Put your kids in situations where they can see good examples. Like, even if that's not your every day-to-day life, go to church on Sunday. Show your kid, like, hey, this deacon is cool, or hey, this mother on the mother's board is cool. Like, you can show your kids a different life while still living your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it all plays into environment, like what Joel just said.
Yeah, you can kind of take your kids outside of your everyday regular environment. Like, they don't have to be stuck here. So this is for the parents, like, you can take your kids somewhere else. They don't have to be stuck there. I know financially you have to live where you have to live. Like, I get all of that type of stuff. But every now and then it's good to show your children a different environment and give them access to different people, because a lot of people just don't want their kids to have a lot of influences, and I get that, but at the same time your kids need a lot of different influences.
I feel like a lot of the times it really, all the blame really comes down to the parents at the end of the day, because like it is your child, you know. And I feel like as a parent, if I was to have a child as a parent, I would feel like his future is basically that's gonna be my generation after I pass away. So I need to make sure that his future is gonna be utmost to the best he can make it,
regardless of the situation you may be in. You're gonna fight for your kid
to his ability, making sure that he's gonna be trying his best. And I feel like a lot of times parents don't have that much passion for their kid. A lot of times the parents don't have that much passion for their kids as much as they might have passion, or they don't have passion because their parents don't have passion for what they want to do. I feel like a lot of times it's from single parents, a lot of stress that they had to deal with. I feel like life is very hard for single parents, so they may not be able to support their child as much as they need it, because I feel like today's world, youth is having it very hard, like education and like environment wise. It's a lot of bad influence on the social media. So I feel like a lot of the influence is getting to the youth, and I feel like some parents are not able to put that foot down. So I feel like that's where the mentors are going to be able to come into the part, and because that's their job, to be there for the youth. I feel like, and get them good influence.
But I feel like at some point when the parents aren't involved in their kids' lives and their education, that's when the schools have to come in. And I hate how Cathedral, being a private school with 1,100 kids with not that many resources offered by the state, I hate how Cathedral does this better than most public schools when they have at least some sort of state backing. Because Cathedral, we have mentors, we have counselors, we have more our counselors have maybe a caseload of 50 students. We have enough counselors for everybody. At Warren, I remember because London is a former member of this team before. I remember that she had there was a huge wait list at Warren. You can tell me, you can give me if I'm wrong. Is there a wait list to meet your counselor at Warren?
Okay, so for the counselor thing, no. Basically, what they do is all they do is email our counselor. We'll get called down, and then there may be one person in front of us, but other than that, there's not really a wait list. Because I would say at Warren, they're doing a lot better than what a lot of people think. We're for our east side. So there's a lot of backlash on us. But the thing is, though, it's at Warren, what they're doing for us is, cause there's 3,000 kids at our school, something like that. Way too high, too many people, things like that. But the thing is, though, our teachers are kind of like our counselors. For me personally, I have a teacher that's like a mom to me. I have teachers like that to me, along with the counselors too. The counselors, even though it's like a 30-to-1 for counselors, it's like a 30-to-1 for teachers, all that. What I realized is that at my school, they're actually helping us. For anything, we're struggling with any class, any teachers that we have, they'll talk with us. And so instead of being like that, it's kind of for Warren, it's a whole community altogether. Coaches and that. I know I can go to anybody. I
got a question. Do you guys feel like mentors should be just as important as teachers?
Yes, most definitely.
They should be in schools.
Absolutely.
Because if the parents aren't offering their child anything at home, schools have to step in as that safe place, and that's when mentors come in.
But I must say, when it comes to because of course we are students, you can build relationships with your teachers. A lot of students have this, they just don't want to build relationships with their teachers. A lot of kids just don't care to have a relationship with their teachers and the people whose classrooms they're in every single day.
But it goes back to my point about paying teachers more. Some teachers don't want to be there, and that's why teachers quit. But some teachers don't want to be there, and that's why students don't want to build a relationship with their teachers.
I feel like it's not more so about the pay. It's kind of like an impossible job. In my opinion, I feel like you can't have about 40 to 35 kids in this class, about 5, 10, 6 feet down here with one small teacher, one small female teacher, and thinking she's gonna be able to handle this class. I feel like one teacher per class is insane. I feel like we should have a class where it's 2 to 3 teachers in the class to help out the whole class. I don't know. I feel like
that actually is a real thing though. There's our teachers. We have teachers assistants at our school, and it's in a lot of classes.
But I would say it's overwhelming. Like teacher assistants, what happened was the other teachers, like both of them, if they clash, it's so overwhelming for the kids who are also in that class. Because me personally,
well, they're just not professional,
right? Because I don't know about nothing.
But
about
I also feel like
it
is my bad. I also feel like it's kind of like what's that word? I feel like it's kind of crazy to. I feel like it's kind of crazy for me to be like 1 out of 30 kids to try to, turn my teacher into a mentor to a certain extent, because you know how they be like, okay, one kid get a gummy bear, not the rest of the kids want a gummy bear. You know, now. That's
why I like Lawrence Township, because Lawrence Township is, I believe, the only school outside of Perry Township. Is one of the only 2 districts in the city that have 2 separate high schools. Because if Lawrence Township only had one combined high school,
that would be a miss.
You guys would have about 5,000 kids in your school.
IPS has multiple high schools, though. So they're not the only one.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. IPS has 2. I'm sorry, 3. But still, you guys have 2 high schools. If you combine them, you have about 5,000 kids. That's way too many children to look. That's way too many.
That's a lot. But I must.
6,000 in the school is ginormous.
Yeah, I must say though, some of these kids are like very disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, and this goes back to home, and even this goes back to elementary school and middle school. Mentors, everything. But like this can go back to elementary school, middle school. Like, how are we like? Some of these kids are like really disrespectful. So how do we expect teachers to want to stay here and work with y'all kids if y'all kids are talking to teachers out the side of their neck, talking to teachers insane? Like, yes, some teachers every now and then do need to be checked. But this is not
really add on that though.
This is not majority. Like some teachers actually want to be there, but they get treated like crap, and now all of a sudden, and now they don't want to be there.
But I also feel like
what Joel said about mentors.
But I also, not just the mentors, also feel like the vibe of school changes as you get older, as you go up in the grade. I feel like it's more or less like it's less of expressing your feelings. It's less of being able to be more open. It's like we come, hey, don't talk, sit down, be quiet. I don't want to hear you talk right now. I don't want to hear what you got to think. Hey, get your paper, write down. Everybody silent. I feel like it's a lot less like cozy sometimes with high school. Like all the colors gone now.
Serious?
Yeah, all the colors going into school now.
Yeah, it's not a welcoming environment.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit though, because who knows what that teacher went through the period before you got in there?
Right. Because I treat all.
Who knows what they were dealing with before you got in there? Somebody.
Kids can be.
A fight could have broke out in their classroom. It could have been anything. Somebody could have talked to them insane, and now they upset. Teachers are humans. Like they're gonna be upset.
I don't know about y'all, but every time I walk in my classroom, I always greet my teacher. I always greet, whether it's just hi or good morning, good afternoon. Sometimes I be funny because teachers are humans too. Like they're not just robots that live in a classroom 24/7.
You can't expect them to just get talked to crazy and just deal with a whole lot of mess and then supposed to have a smile on their face when you walk into the next period.
Yeah, but back at the end of the day, that just goes back to it really falls on the parents. I really think this conversation should be more geared towards holding the parents accountable. I think that's really what it should be, Miss Ronnie. Yeah. I think that we should be holding these parents.
That was so foolish.
Miss Ronnie is a great mother. She's a great mother. She got her kid in baseball, soccer, whatever he wanted to do.
Right.
But
he's supposed to be at baseball practice right now. She's mother of the year.
Before y'all jump on me, I really want to point out, before we even started this, Miss Ronnie was talking about how that she really hopes that her kid has the same work ethic. And that really just speaks towards her mind as a parent, because you know, she's worried. I mean, even right now, she's like, I really hope my kid does good in school. A lot of parents don't be thinking about that. If the kids that really don't worry about that. And I really think it just falls back on the parents. We need to start holding these parents accountable for what these kids are doing. And the schools need to support the teachers in holding these parents accountable too. Because really, I think me and Komiko both, we both had our fair share of like both of our teachers, Mr. Cameron, Mr. Hart, they're the leaders of BSU, and we're really close to them, and they both tell us our stories about, their stories about how these kids are really disrespectful, and we've seen it in person too. And the thing is, the schools do not hold these kids accountable. They do not suspend. They do not call parents, and even if they do call parents, the schools don't get.
Oh, they suspend, but suspension doesn't do anything.
Let me tell you, they expel, they suspend. Let me tell you, it's much as a fight.
What is sending them back home to where they can do whatever they want to do at home? What is that supposed to do?
But then how do we help them? Because the parents aren't intervening. What do we do about these kids?
That's where mentors come in. But I also feel like sometimes some situations cannot be helped. That's why the problem still lingers to this day. Some situations still cannot just be helped. Sometimes it's just so bad they stuck in that habit, and they the only person that can bring them out that habit. No mentor, no amount of influence can bring them out of that nature that they're now in.
Back to what they were saying, I want to shout out one program. It's called Crown Mentoring. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but I did Crown Mentoring when I was a kid, because I'm not going to lie to you, I was kind of like a bad kid, but not really, not really bad. But Crown Mentoring is this father program where they put real fathers in the community to father these other children in schools that don't have fathers. And I'm not saying my father wasn't around per se, but I would say that my father wasn't in my life that much. So I would say that programs like that bring father figures and parental roles to schools is very, very nice. I want to put that out there. Crown Mentoring was a really, really good program, and I recommend that to any kid, because it literally starts in elementary school and it goes up to middle school. And I'm gonna say, they give those kids. They took us to a Pacer game. They give me discipline. I mean,
parents, y'all need to step up. And also,
take care of your
schools
kids.
do a little bit better when it comes to providing necessities.
It goes back to all of your points about how there's no mentors in the home and there's no father figures. That's when I said schools need to jump in, and that's why every school needs at least 10 mentors. Not 10 mentors. Every school needs mentors based on the school population. Yes. But guys, this was a great conversation.
Yes, I agree. I think that's going to be it for us at Real Talk. I'm Jay Scott.
I'm Joel Draper, youth advocate with Voices.
I am Coleman Reynolds, a junior at Lawrence North High School.
My name is Aiden Tribute. I am a senior at Lawrence North High School.
And this is Trey Jefferson, and that's been Real Talk.
This is Real Talk. No strings attached. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast. And be sure to check out other great podcasts on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Online now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.